Hello and welcome to Diaspora Network, where we showcase Nigerians making their country proud around the world. I'm Teniola Oyetayo. On the program today, our focus is on the significance and influence of communities that bring Nigerians together worldwide. Our special report explores efforts of building bridges in the diaspora, and we speak with Adetunji Omotola, the founder of the Guild of Nigerian Professionals in South Africa. But before we dive into all that, let's take a quick look at the news of the week. The Nigerian federal government has opened e-passport offices in its Italy, Spain, Greece, Austria and Switzerland embassies. In a statement, officials said the new passport centres are part of efforts to streamline passport processing and acquisition for Nigerians living in the diaspora. The Federal Minister of Interior, Mr. Tunji Ojo, emphasised the dedication of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government to citizens' diplomacy and the enhancement of services to the diaspora community, outlining that there will be additional centres opening in the future. In a bid to pay his dues back home, a US-based doctor has set out to help provide medical services for the underprivileged in Cross River State. Dr. Joe Tarkun, who is a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, will lead a medical outreach in the Yako community, specifically targeting the UGEP area. The aim of the project is to provide medical assistance for at least 2,000 individuals in need and is organised under Dr. Tarkun's non-profit organisation, Vital Health International. For the past 6 years, the doctor, who is also a pastor in his hometown Atlanta, Georgia, has continued to demonstrate his passion for Nigeria's health sector, featuring on a series of radio stations and national TV outlets to promote his work. On why he is giving back, Dr. Tarkon explained that he grew up in a missionary community in Cameroon and saw how they saved lives. He added that he was born a twin and that if it was not for the intervention of the missionary who stopped the killing of the twins, he would not be alive today. This month, Nigeria's Lagos State marked a historic moment by making an inaugural appearance at the Lord Mayor's Show in the UK capital. The event was graced by Lagos State Governor, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, co-chair of the Lagos International Financial Centre Council, and the Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture, amongst many others.
So we're here to display our culture, to display part of our heritage, and to display who we are, so that we can open Lagos up for business. London and the City of London is known to be the oldest and the most diversified city in the world. So a partnership with Lagos is a plus for both of us.
Organisers of the London event attributed the participation of Lagos State to its growing economic prominence on the global stage.
The Lagos International Financial Centre Council, which is chaired by His Excellency Governor Jide Sanwo-Olu and co-chaired by myself, has as its objective, basically ensuring that Lagos State and Nigeria do everything necessary to be a beacon for international investment. We're really grateful, and it's this coming together and this collaboration and partnership between the public and private sectors that will unleash investments for Nigeria.
This year's edition was the first time an African city was showcased in the tradition's 800 years. Juliana Olayinka with the Diaspora Network News Wrap in London. We've also been following the activities of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission as they continue to engage citizens living abroad through various programs. Let's take a closer look.
Present at the 6th edition of the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit, organized by the Nigeria Diaspora Summit Initiative in collaboration with the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Nigerian diaspora investors, business owners, representatives of private sector entities, and public officials from various ministries, departments, and agencies. At the 3-day event geared towards driving diaspora direct investments to Nigeria, Chairman of NIDCOM, Mrs. Abike Dabri-Erewa, harps on the need for more interactive engagement as a sustainable strategy for attracting investment.
We've built a foundation for diaspora investments. So on day one here, we're talking about pitches. You can see people saying, come, we can put money in some businesses, but you need to promote your business. And we have people here that are paying people here in dollars. You can do a lot of this online. So there are ways you can earn money. So this is wealth creation by the diaspora. So it's about saying, we can put money in these businesses, but you need to promote your business. And we have people from all over the world that are in this hall today for day one of this session. So this is about the pitching sessions. Where can you put money? What do you want to invest in? How can you get money for your businesses? And we have those in the diaspora that are actually employing people here. You don't have to be physically present. You find people that are earning money online through them. So this has been a very educative session, even for me. I can still make money from them. So, and as we look forward to that, we're saying that we want to have diaspora direct investment. You know, it's slow and steady, but we're building it. So you can see the passion in their country. They came from all over the world to be part of this, to look at areas of investment, and they're investing already, particularly healthcare industry, ICT, the food business, education. So we're happy with what we're seeing here today.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Mr. Ahmed Dangiwa, seized the opportunity to call on Nigerians in diaspora to take advantage of the 50 million naira housing loan scheme, which allows them actualize their dreams of owning affordable homes in the country.
Nigerian communities are essential in preserving and promoting the country's rich cultural heritage and traditions. They offer vital social support to members, assisting in navigating the challenges of life away from home. Here are some Nigerians who have created such spaces in the diaspora, fostering a sense of connection and shared identity.
The Nigerian Association of Western Australia, NAWA, is devoted to building a body that generates pride in the Nigerian culture, history, and achievements. NAWA is also committed to creating a community that teaches Nigerian children in Australia their native language. Through this medium, many Nigerian immigrants in the country are developing a strong voice within the larger Australian community and gaining opportunities for personal and professional growth. The Nigerian American Multi-Service Association, NAMSA, is a non-profit organization based in Boston, Massachusetts. It is dedicated to promoting and preserving the culture and heritage of Nigerian and African descent in the United States. The association provides a supportive environment through networking opportunities that help Nigerians adapt and thrive. It also celebrates the contributions of Nigerian Americans in the U.S. and help new immigrants integrate better into the larger American society. Through collective action, the group creates partnerships that promote inclusive and lasting socio-economic progress, advocacy, and philanthropy. Another group that is committed to building a unified, vibrant, and empowered community of Nigerians in America is the Nigerian American Multicultural Council. The organization promotes excellence in career and business, expands horizons through education, mentorship, and civic engagement, while sharing the richness of Nigerian and African arts and culture in the U.S. These groups and many more organizations, as well as individuals, are promoting stronger bonds among Nigerians abroad and driving a wholesome narrative of the people.
Our special report this week explores the theme of building bridges in the diaspora, examining environments where Nigerians can collaborate to make a greater impact, not only in their respective countries of residence, but also back home.
Throughout global history, there have been thousands of migration movements which continue to create diasporic populations. This large group of people who live outside of their homeland share a national or regional origin like ethnicity, ancestry, culture, and language. Nigeria is one of the countries with a high immigration rate and a large population of diverse individuals who are known for maintaining strong ties with their home country. This is reflected not only in the high levels of remittances they generate back home, but also through consistent engagement. Another way Nigerian diaspora communities maintain connection with their home country is through the creation of diaspora organizations, professional networks, and informal social groups. These associations provide avenues for communities to maintain social bonds, uplift welfare of members, portray the good image of the Nigerian people, and promote the relationship between Nigeria and host countries. Experts advocate stronger ties and collaborations between the Nigerian government and diaspora groups to access bodies like the African Union, the African Development Bank, the Pan-African Parliament, and other regional bodies to build capacity and leverage the professionalism and skill sets of Nigerians in the diaspora.
And now let's meet Adetunji Omotola, the founder of the Guild of Nigerian Professionals South Africa, an initiative born out of the necessity for Nigerian professionals to support each other. Describing himself as an African enthusiast, dedicated to telling the African story, Adetunji Omotola has made significant strides in South Africa. His father, Professor Jelili Omotola, served as the former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos. With a background rich in education, he holds a Master's in Communications Research from the University of Leicester, an LLB in Law from South Bank University, London, and a degree in Sociology from the University of Lagos. As an alumnus of the Henley Business School's Executive Speaker Program and a Bloomberg Certified Financial Consultant, Adetunji is the visionary founder of 12 Disciples Leaders and the driving force behind Afrospace Media, a platform aimed at sharing African stories. Residing in South Africa for over 2 decades, he actively challenges the prevailing negative narrative surrounding Nigerians in the country. In response to xenophobic attacks, Adetunji established the Guild of Nigerian Professionals in South Africa, dedicated to enhancing opportunities for fellow Nigerians. The Guild has cultivated strong alliances with influential entities such as the South Africa and Nigerian Chamber of Business, the Nigerian High Commission, and various corporate partners. A sought-after speaker, Adetunji frequently addresses Africa's challenges and opportunities at conferences like the Brent Hurst Foundation. He has also made significant strides in the African wine industry through his wine consulting companies. His endeavors include orchestrating wine dinners, hosting tastings, and curating exhibitions across pivotal African markets. Coming up on the program, Adetunji Omotola provides insights into his inspirations and the impact he has made in South Africa. Please stay with us. Adetunji Omotola, thank you for joining us on Diaspora Network.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, you wear many, many hats. Your educational background is quite diverse, with degrees in law, communications, and sociology. Talk to us about your different experiences and how, they shaped your journey up to this point.
Okay, thank you. Look, my background, obviously, when I was young, I wanted to be a journalist. I used to get everything right in spelling and dictation. Of course, Nigeria's academic system, quite tough. You want to get into university. I think those days, there were only 2 universities that offered mass communications as a degree. And I think with JAM, I didn't get the cutoff mark or something. So my father says, you know what, you've got to go to university. So I ended up studying sociology. I never knew about sociology until I got to University of Maiduguri. So I started with sociology and anthropology, and then I finished off at the University of Lagos with a sociology degree. And then from there, I went to England to study a master's in communication research. Again, I wanted to do an MBA because an MBA was in fashion at the time. It was very fashionable for Nigerians to do an MBA, talking about the late 80s and early 90s. And then I found myself doing a master's in communications at Leicester University. And then my late father, who was a professor of law, said to me, hey, hang on a minute. You're a British citizen. You must use the grant, because in England, if you're British, you can get a grant, pay your university fees. That's how I ended up going to study law. It was very frightening. 28 years old, walking into a law classroom for the first time. Even though I had 2 degrees, I was very intimidated. So that shaped my first experience in education.
You mentioned your father briefly there. You've also written a book about him. Speak to us about that and, his influence on you as a person.
Yes, I've been reading. I wrote a book about my father called Memories of My Father, Memories of My Father, because I felt my father wasn't really very well understood. And everything I read about my father was about just one position that he held for 5 years. And he died well in his late 60s. So I thought, let me write about him. So who's my father? Jalili Omotola, 7th Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, first and only lawyer to be Vice Chancellor, a man that had so many nicknames, even more than me. And I thought, how come my father have more nicknames than me? So they called him Mr. Magic. We called him Omora. The students called him Omoti. I mean, he was a Dean of Law, Faculty of Law in the late 1980s, 1986 to 1990. Before he became Vice Chancellor, he was also Dean at Faculty of Law at Ogun State University, which has now changed its name now. And what I remember profoundly about my dad when we were growing up was him marking scripts and sitting on the balcony in our house in Surulere and using his agbada or buba to chase away mosquitoes while also trying to mark scripts and sometimes giving students very low marks, but also a very generous man, very social. He had a booming laughter, and when he laughed at the beginning of the street, you will hear it at the other end. But what it was also profound in was that he was a doctrinal researcher, and he wrote a lot of books on land law. He was an amicus curiae to the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal. An amicus curiae is a friend of the court. And he was mentioned in big cases like Savannah Bank versus Argilo, which is a locus classicus case in land law. So, but also what I always say about my dad is that there are not too many people who would have done as much as he did, because with a chronic health condition. My father was a chronic asthmatic patient. So sometimes he almost died of asthma, and he had to be doing a lot of processes to be able to counter the asthma. He used to carry his Ventolin all around, or Franol. He always had his asthma tablets all the time and the inhaler. So for people who say, oh, things are difficult, try doing what he did with chronic asthma. So my father is my hero, and that's why I wrote a book about him.
Yeah, you can definitely tell you have a lot of, fond memories of your dad. I'm interested in, what was it like for you growing up Nigerian, and when did you eventually move to South Africa? I know you were in the UK for some time. When was that move?
I left in April 1989, and I came back to Nigeria 10 years later with a master's degree, a law degree, and I'd been a qualified stockbroker. Well, my first job in England was knocking on doors and selling textured paint for the outside walls. That's how I started in England.
And when was the move to South Africa, or what led you to South Africa?
Arrived here, loved it here. The food was great. The wine was great. The weather was great. The roads were amazing. And everything was beautiful. And after the yellow fever saga in 2012, when South African immigration deported 125 Nigerians and cost a diplomatic spat. A few months after, I think about 9 months later, I decided that it was wise for me to set up the Guild of Nigerian Professionals South Africa to protect the interests of Nigerian professionals and also to get them to become more visible, particularly because now after the yellow fever thing, well, we had drugs, we're accused of being drug dealers, 419ers. Now there was yellow fever, fake certificate. Oh boy, that damaged our reputation. It made us look bad. Of course, the Nigerian government responded in equal measure, and there was an apology that was extracted. But that was the reason why I set up the guild. But 2013 was a pivotal year for us because we did so many things from January. And if you remember that Nelson Mandela, the great man, died in that same 2013. And President Jonathan also came to visit South Africa as well.
One thing I find really interesting is your experience working in the wine industry. What was the inspiration behind this?
When I came to South Africa, I went to wine tastings. I became a student at the Cape Wine Academy. The lady that I was married to at the time was writing wine exams. I come from an academic background, so I would support her in her studies. And it was a great new world of discovery for me. The language, the fruits, the grapes, the soil, all of the things, climate. So I fell in love with wine. And it was natural that when I left the financial services industry in 2006, I left Old Mutual. I was top of the country in July. I brought in 7 million rand investments into Old Mutual. That was $1 million in 2006. On March 23rd, I got the instructions from a gentleman who was a chief financial officer of a big company. So for me to move away from financial services where I was doing well, to go into a wine industry that is mostly white, I suspect also because I had lived in the UK and I loved the language, I'm a student of literature and law, I found a safe haven in the wine industry. And I took to it like duck to water. And as a result of that, I went into Ghana, the first Nigerian in this country to export wine into Ghana and sit there with the wine, not giving it to an importer who doesn't know anything about wine, and they sell it like they're selling bread and a pap. So I had to do it differently. I was there for a year, paid a lot of money, lost a lot of money, but in the end, I say that I've done more for South Africa's wine industry in Ghana and Nigeria than most people of Nigerian extraction.
You know, all these, they're amazing achievements. But I like to ask this question because it gives us an insight into what you find as the proudest achievement. What would you say, has been your proudest achievements and, the stories behind them, just to get an idea of what you think?
I think writing a book about my late father, sharing perspective, the things that I knew about him, how I grew up was also there, my relationship with him. I think it's a proud moment for me. I think it should be for every African, because not every day you get a lawyer who becomes a vice chancellor in a university where the law faculty is so small. And that's the first thing. The second thing is for somebody who lost a lot of money people get into Forbes Africa magazine for having a lot of money. I got in there because I lost a lot of money in a space called My Worst Day. So in April 2014, the same month that Nigeria was declared Africa's largest economy, the same month that Boko Haram kidnapped the Chibok girls, I made my debut in Forbes Africa. I think that's a very amazing achievement. For losing money, I still get it into Forbes. Of course, it was a story that was very profound because a Nigerian in Ghana selling wine, people were saying to me, I told you, why are you selling wine? Why are you not doing property? Why? And some people will ask me, why are you only doing wine? They didn't understand the industry. That is billions of dollars. The wine industry in America is in billions of dollars. South Africa is also billions of dollars. France is billions of dollars. So is Spain and Italy and even Germany. So because people don't know anything about the wine industry, they wanted me to be selling bricks and mortar, cement, or bread or eggs. But today, God be the glory, I'm still in the wine space. I have exams in 2 weeks. I postponed my exams for 12 years. I'm now going to write it in 2 weeks' time. is called the Diploma at the Cape Wine Academy. So I think those two stand out for me, Forbes Africa and having written a book about my late father, Professor Jelili Adebisi Omotola, SAN.
All right, then, Adetunji Omotola, thank you so much for joining us on Diaspora Network. It's definitely been an interesting conversation, and wish you all the best in your exam.
Thank you very much.
And that's a wrap for this edition of Diaspora Network. You can catch all our episodes on our YouTube channel and website, channelstv.com. I'm Teniola Oyetayo, and I look forward to sharing more amazing and inspiring stories of Nigerians in the diaspora with you next time.